Hi, Julie. How are you doing? Oh, there's a map turtle. Let's see who comes out while I'm sitting here. I see a sunfish over there. I know some of the... Oh, there's the razorback musk turtle right there. Having to add a little bit of water right now. Evaporation is crazy high. It's super, super hot. So all my ponds dropping like crazy, and this one I try to keep at a certain level just to make it easier for stuff to kind of go from one section to the other through here. So yeah, but yeah, pond's looking good, man. It's all filled in. Everything's super filled with plants. What's up, Paul Bravo? Yeah, everything's doing pretty good. I got this tree that grew out of a piece of driftwood, so I guess I've got a tree there now. What's up, Razorback? Razorback always likes to say hi. Always like super curious. Such a good... People always ask me for like best pet turtles, and I think you can't go wrong with the musk turtles. And in particular, I think the razorbacks are really good because they get big enough that it's a little easier to house them outside if you wanted to do that. They're a little bit less capable of escaping like a stink pot is or something smaller, but overall just really great. Oh, there's the sunfish, came squeezing out of that little hole. That's pretty cool. Oh, I see an alligator snapper head. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. You can just barely see that head poking out from under that cave. Right there in the middle. Just barely see an eye and a snout. So yeah, he's in his little cave. He loves like being... That cave runs all the way under there, and they love being under that plant too. And the sunfish like sitting there kind of waiting on me to toss stuff in here. I don't know if I have any worms I can find right off the bat. Sometimes I can get like toss worms in here. Waiting on an eastern box turtle from Chris and Casey. Said he'd be shipped sometime in July. Oh, okay. Is it a hatchling or like how old is it? Eastern boxes are cool. I've got one that just kind of free roams the yard. And then I've got Gulf Coast box turtles that I'm a real big fan of. The Gulf Coast. They're super, super awesome. There's a cooter sitting right here in the bushes. Let's see if we can go take a peek at him. He thinks he's slick. You think you're slick, mister? I spotted you a mile away. Yeah, hatchling box turtles are neat. They start off like so small, and they kind of like naturally live in like a micro habitat, microclimate, mostly like underneath leaves and stuff. So a lot of people raise juvenile box turtles in like a tub of shallow water. I know I've done that with Gulf Coast and Florida's, and also like Chinese box turtles. So that works super well for those. Let's see, we got lots of these boys. Got some... It's interesting how some stuff will just like, oh, I'm gonna grow out of I'm gonna grow out of that. There's like all these other plants just decided they were gonna grow out of the moss. Kind of interesting that becomes like a substrate that stuff can grow out of. There's a bunch of snails that live in here, but what I've noticed the snails do is like during this hot period of the day, they're actually underneath the rocks, and then I'll come out here around sunset or like when this has been in the shade for a long time, and then you'll see all the ram's horns kind of coming up to the top side. This doesn't get hot. Here's a ram's horn right here. This doesn't get hot, but I don't know, maybe they don't like to be in direct sunlight or something like that. So, yep. And so they're good musk turtle food. So feed on stuff on the rocks. It's really cool to be able to have kind of a little ecosystem going with all that stuff. Big old Joe Pye, kind of a native plant. This one grows big. Got a nice bald cypress here. Lots of ferns. So I'm waiting for my water level to just cover that rock, and then I'll cut that water off. But yeah, the water comes down this, goes, hooks, makes that L shape. Big underground cave system here, underground cave there. underground cave over there. So it looks narrow, but it's actually, there's more places for them to hang out than you think. And sometimes if you look underneath this stuff, you'll see some of the stuff hiding in those caves. Like if we look in this cave, right there, woo, there's a snapper down in there, and he does pretty good in there. So, and then when I do have snakes, the snakes will actually go behind this big rock and like kind of hang out in that void behind that thing. So yeah, man, just seeing what's going on. It's already getting hot. I think actually the tortoises have already kind of like, oh, my daughter's toys. That's what they don't tell you. Like, oh, your backyard will be full of toys. And then, oh, let's go check this out. This is cool. So over here, one of my alligator snapper females excavated a nest the other morning. And you can get like a good look at it right here. So the head rests right here, front legs here, back legs there and there. Tail goes here, and you can see where the tail kind of stabs into the ground. And so the nest chamber is about right. And then, so they kind of dig and work their feet, and then they'll cover the nest back like that. So pretty cool. There's one nest here, and then over here in the garden, there's another nest right there. And then over in Tony's pond, there's another nest. So those females I got a few weeks ago, both of those immediately nested, and then, oh, there goes the alligator snapper. They immediately nested, and then my female that I've always had also did. So, yep. Yep, Tony was just there for a second there. I think him and the female are maybe stacked on top of each other in here. I'll go around this way, see if we can get a better view of them. Oh, there goes a couple lizards and a frog. Now the glare is pretty terrible right here. Let's see. Sometimes I can look in between these logs though, and you'll see, see somebody's face, but yeah, they're pretty deep in those logs. They just get all the way up under that. And then you can see some of the shelf that we built right there where it kind of goes and drops off. And then I still left this open here because I think I want to do a bridge across here. I saw a guy on Facebook Marketplace that lives close to me that builds little garden bridges. So hopefully he'll respond to my, is this available? And see if I can maybe come up with a bridge across this thing, because I would love nothing more than just sit and drink my coffee and watch the turtles. This is the biofalls. I think I've shown this pretty much every time I show it, but it's neat how everything starts growing in. Actually stuck a orchid right here. We'll see if it takes. And for the filtration inside my biofalls, it's a layer of, I think it's the lava rock, and then some gravel. There's also a couple bags of bio balls. These come with bio balls when you get them, but not nearly enough to fill this thing. I mean, this thing's about the size of a stock tank. So I do the bio balls with the lava rock. You can also put some gravel in there. And then I love to just stick some of these aquatic plants in there, and then the roots will go down in there and just help filter it so much. So I really like those. What's up, Todd? How you doing, buddy? American Roadrunner. I am trying to find some alligator snappers for you. I think I got like a little one I can go grab from over here. There's one in a stock tank over here I can usually spot and pull out. We'll also say hi to these cooters over here. Got a red belly basking over here. The cooters have moved up into the wetland to feed on some of the plants and some of the algae that comes up. Got a cooter right there. So these guys will actually come all the way up, hike up through here, and then just spend the day in here feeding on algae and plants. And that's a big old red belly over here. That's a big girl. She's probably 12 pounds. All right, so we'll see if, can we spot, oh, I see an alligator snapper right there. Hey buddy, come here. Little juvenile western alligator snapping turtle. You can see, look how fat he is. You can tell he's a western with that ultra hooked beak. Really big super marginals. This is the, you know, this one was given to me by somebody that had it and didn't want to take care of it anymore. Kind of typical story. People get alligator snappers and get bored of them pretty quick because they don't really do much during the day. And so people think that they're just kind of a rock. So yeah, so they end up here. And that's kind of more typical of what you see in the pet trade. Those are what have been basically pulled out of Louisiana and Arkansas and put on farms, and pretty cool. Charlie moved to North Carolina. So he's sort of closer to me. I think instead of being like 8 or 9 hours, he might be like 6, maybe 7 hours over in North Carolina, which is pretty cool. I want to make it over there and see his new place. See, I've got another snapper in here that's a little bigger. Let's see if we can find this one. But yeah, it'd be cool to go see Charlie's place over in North Carolina. It's like a totally different vibe than where he was before. Like he's up in like mountains and hills now, which is pretty cool. It's neat to get like a change of scenery like that. You know, obviously Florida is like a paradise, but the last couple of times I went down there, I remember traffic was crazy, and I think it was driving Charlie crazy, and South Florida is just really hectic. I mean, it would be cool to live there. I think it'd be, yeah, I love visiting there for sure, but it just seems like it's gotten so just crazy, you know, just so many people. Got my watercress right here. Let's see if we can keep it from getting too pinned behind there. There we go. Oh yeah, if I go visit Charlie, I'll definitely do like a video, and you know, maybe we'll jump on a YouTube live. I think that'd be cool. Do YouTube live with Charlie and kind of see where he's at as far as getting set up. Now I know he parted with a bunch of animals because he didn't want to move with a bunch of animals, and I kind of understand that. I think it was, you know, I don't want to speak out of turn, but degree, I think every time we move, it's kind of a fresh start, and maybe that's kind of where his mind was. Razorback's still there. All right, so we have gotten this to a desired water level. Oi, oi, oi. There we go. We'll turn that guy off. Oh, it's crazy in Florida. Trust me, I live here. Yeah. Thanks, Todd. It's true, man. I mean, it's, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with living there, but I think it's just gotten to where I think to continue living there, maybe you have to grow a new set of patience, you know. It's been different every time I've gone down, and I want to say the last time I went down there, it had just gotten to the point where I was sitting in as much traffic as Atlanta, and Atlanta's ridiculous. And, you know, I hate to say it, but I kind of hate it here. I wish I could take everything I have and pick it up and move it to somewhere else. So, yeah, he had stunning cherry heads, and as far as I know, he brought the cherry heads with him. So, your wife and you regret it. See, and that's the thing, is like, you don't want to move and then have that regret, you know, like I think about that all the time. Like, oh, what if I like impulsively move somewhere, you know, and then I get there and then I'm like, what did I do? You know, like now I'm here. And, you know, when you've got like a house payment and you've got, you know, kind of everything that goes along with, you know, like a mortgage and all that, it's like, you're not trapped, but it definitely, it's like an intimidating feeling to kind of get in that, you know. So, but I also think it's easy to forget and not appreciate what you have, because the times when I don't like it here, I think about like the amount of diversity, the amount of things I can just jump in my truck and go somewhere and see like 10 different turtle species pretty easily. I can see all these different reptile species. I can go see lakes, rivers, streams, mountains. I can go down like, you know, a little bit of ways and I'm in the sandhills or the coastal plain. All the beaches are about 4.5 hours from me, so I can go see beaches in a short drive. Like, so I think even if you're in South Florida and you're not necessarily happy there, like, you still have a lot of options to see a lot of beautiful stuff if you want to. Oh, yeah, that's a sticky situation with that house. That's a tough one. And my heart goes out to you on that. I wish I could help you out there or snap my fingers and and fix that. But, you know, I think that's one of those situations where you end up in something really, really hard and really tough. And then by the time you get through it, you will end up gaining, you know, something that'll help you, you know, down the line. I feel like that's the only way to deal with adversity like that, is to just get through it and let it kind of build, you know, some character and some experience. Otherwise, you could be a real estate agent. I do real estate photography, so maybe the thing is just to see what you can do to try and sell it. Sounds like with the name on the thing not being what you were told, it'll be kind of difficult. Let's see, do we see any other characters? It's gotten so hot right now. Everybody is hiding. I think maybe we'll go to the back, see if we can find a Gulf Coast box turtle. Just did a health check on one of the female alligator snappers, and that's just basically palpating and seeing if she has eggs, because so many of them laid eggs. And then got this tub going. This has one of the female alligator snappers in it, and she was the second one to lay eggs. And then of the two that I got, her weight was a lot lower. Like, I could definitely tell the other female kind of bossed her around and dominated her and was getting all the food. So I decided to separate them and then take the female that was kind of more dominant one, put her with Tony, and then that kind of mellowed her out and kept her in check a little bit better, because Tony is ultra food motivated. So now it's a little bit more of a 50-50 for her. What's up, Stephen Price? All right, let's find, see, it's hot enough. The Gulfs are using this stuff to hide in. Let's see, we've got these old dog crates. I like to use these just as like little things of cover. Oh, here we go. Here's a Gulf. What's up, buddy? And you got some in that thing behind you. This guy's ultra friendly. Whenever I go and do events, I don't have like a really good Eastern to take with me, so this Gulf Coast box turtle has a lot more kind of Eastern coloration. And so this guy goes with me everywhere. He never really goes in his shell. He's super outgoing. I can actually take him out of the enclosure and go dig around in the yard for worms, and he'll just follow me. He'll just follow me around like a dog, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Todd, I'm showing box turtles right now, so, and you can tell he's a Gulf because he's got those big flared marginals, and he's, you know, a pretty big boy. And he's got that big Gulf Coast box turtle beak with the big cusp on the end. And then in here are some more Gulfs. Everybody's in there keeping cool during the heat of the day. Gulf Coast box turtles do like a lot of shade. They also like a lot of water. I'm gonna be building a coastal plain pond. And basically the idea for that being just a big shallow pond with like a sand bottom. And I think I'm gonna place it right out here. And then we'll just extend this out this way. And we'll take like that liner and maybe another one. Just gonna make a nice big round pond. And it'll be very similar to what these guys have in the coastal plain. And there's pine trees up here, and I'm gonna let pine needles fall in there so it turns into that coastal plain, like Blackwater pond. Another reason I wanna do it is I have these old stumps, like random holes, and I always step in these and roll my ankle, and then I can't skate. But yep, I see exactly lots of pine tree debris and extra liner stuff sitting around, so this is also a great snake flip. We'll give it a shot. Let's see, do we get any snakes under this today? It might be so hot. Nope, no snakes today. So yeah, nice round pond right here. We'll do probably the Gulf, and then I have some coastal plain cooters I'll probably stick in there. And we'll probably filter it with one canister and one bubbler, and then just put like a ton of plants and stuff in there, lots of sand. And because it won't have snappers, it'll be a lot better than having a liner situation where I'm worried about something tearing it. Box turtles and cooters aren't going to tear a liner. But we'll still probably do the sandwich that I always do, where you take the underlayment, liner, underlayment. I prefer that, and I like that the underlayment also allows for plants to attach to it and kind of the fibers of it. What's up, Bob? How you doing, buddy? What's up, Reel Master? Are you a fishing guy? Hope you're able to get out and cast a reel this weekend. It's getting hot, but it's still pretty nice. I need to go get my fishing license and go do a little bit of fishing and teach my daughter how to fish. I think that might be like a fun weekend activity. Sulcutta right here. He came over to say hi. He saw I was up to something, so what's up, buddy? How are you? Yeah. He always comes over and says hi. I have a lot of videos where I'm trying to do in the backyard, and then this guy just comes over and tries to get in there. Yeah, live worms are my favorite. I love live worms and wax worms. That's kind of what I grew up fishing with when I would go visit my family in Kentucky. We'd just get a couple of, red wigglers or night crawlers, and then we would get some wax worms. And we would just basically be slaying brim all day, just catch and release. But I think that would be like really fun to do with my daughter and kind of teach her about fishing. And I know like down here, crappie fishing is also really popular. I think a lot of the guys do it at night though. Yeah, this guy has such a pretty shell. I love it. Look at that. Such a nice sulcutta, and he will get much bigger. He is still just a baby. So I live in Georgia. Yeah. I am in the wonderful state of Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. Yep, you didn't sneak past me either there, buddy. Asian mountain tortoise hanging out in the shade. Pretty cool. Dude, that's awesome. You were able to find a slider and a hatchling. I bet. Oh, there goes a skink. I think that was a southeastern 5-line. It didn't look like a broadhead, but could have been a young broadhead. Yeah, the Sunshine State. That's where I grew up, man. Sebastian and Vero Beach, and born in Fort Lauderdale. There's a cooter right here. And then somewhere in there is a green frog making a bunch of noise. They always start calling when I'm doing videos and talking. Over here is a hatchling setup. Let's see if we see anybody. Usually if I want to see these guys, I have to kind of get into this plant root mass. Let's see. They're usually in there luring. I might need to take some duckweed out and feed the cooters so that I can kind of see into here a little better. Let's see. Usually I'm able to find one of these every time I do this on live, since there's about 20 of them in here. Let's see. Da-dun-dun-dun. Are they gonna skunk me this time? I think so. I don't like to bother them too much digging around in here because they are little guys, but I do like to try and find one. Where are you guys at? Oh well. Nah, this is bad TV. Sorry guys. And then, oh yeah, got some alligators over here. There they go. Woo! These guys just ate a little bit ago. So yeah, they're chilling. What's up, boys? Hey, Curly. Curly. How are you guys doing? Awesome. Yep. Always happy to see the gators. Got all that stuff going on, so what else we got? think everybody's kind of hiding out, and I'm gonna go get something to eat. So yeah, just gonna see if anybody has any questions I can answer real quick before I go inside. Oh. Everybody's, it's so funny, man. Summer is such a funny time of year because summer hits quick here in Atlanta. It's like it'll go from kind of being chilly to like quickly it becomes so hot that everything's like kind of hiding. And that seems to be what's going on. Is it's gotten to the point in the day where it's like hot enough that everything is just like, I'm done, dude. So yeah, my yard has definitely gotten a lot more stuff, a lot busier. Like I said, now that I got now I have like toys and stuff in the yard, and it's like no matter how much I move those or put them back, nah, man, she's gonna go drag all that stuff back out. Yeah, lots of gators in Florida, man. Same with South Georgia. How long have I had these enclosures? I moved into this house in 2018, and I had moved from a very small house before that. And so when I lived there, everything was kind of in stock tanks and really small setups. And then I got here and I just put out all my stock tanks. And I think it was like the first year I was kind of realizing I had more space and how to use the space. And then I did a trip to Florida, and another tortoise wants to come say hi. I did a trip to Florida. I saw like Kennan's place, and then I hung out with like Fred Grunwald all day, and I kind of saw how he laid everything out because he only had like 1.5 acres, but he had alligators and crocodiles and all kinds of stuff. So I saw the use of space, and so it gave me a lot of ideas for how to do things here. Shout out my channel, KEC Outdoors. Everybody go check out KEC Outdoors. So yeah, that was kind of how I did it, and I'm still figuring it out. You know, I still have enclosures I don't really like or that I want to change. I do think that when we added this Aquascape stream and its position in the yard, it was kind of like, okay, well, we have a centerpiece. Can we build around it? And I also wanted some stuff to have free roam of the yard because I always liked that. So I have like sulcata, obviously this cute little yellowfoot tortoise I've had for years. I wanted them to have free roam of the yard, and then some stuff in enclosures that makes sense to kind of have in enclosures. Like you can't have the box turtles all over the place or mixing with each other. So yeah, this one's name is Lady. Yeah, just Lady, but she's a sweetheart. She likes people, she likes attention. She's a very old yellowfoot tortoise I got from a pet store that was calling her a South American desert tortoise and had her just in a glass cage on sand with a heat lamp, burning a hole in the back of her shell. And I was just like, dude, I think I traded a python or something because they knew about pythons, and I had a bunch of pythons at the time. So I was like, hey, how about this? You guys know what you're doing with pythons, but you don't know what you're doing with tortoises. Let's just do a swap. So my take on Central American wood turtles, they're super cool. I always wanted to try and do something with them, but as I started focusing on trying to keep more stuff outdoors, I just didn't feel like I had a spot for them. But I think they're great. I think they're colorful. I've seen that it seems like they're pretty easy to captive breed and that people do well with them, so I think they're awesome. Yeah, what a collection. There's a lot of stuff. I'm due for a video, and it'll be a long video, and people don't watch long videos anymore, but I'm due for one where I try to show everything I have, because I have a ton of cooters, sliders, musk turtles, mud turtles. I have a couple soft shells. I have the tortoises, the snappers, the alligators, and then I have snakes. So it'd be cool to do a whole video showing everything. It's just, it's an undertaking. And then I have like one pond I hate right now and I want to rebuild, and it's going to take multiple people to do it, and I always feel bad asking people to help me with stuff. But I have all the materials. It just needs to be taken apart, drained, and then just built back up because it's just weathered over the years. How many animals do I have? I always say about 200 because I have between 50 and 100 that I can like think of off the top of my head. And then turtles lay, 10 to 20 eggs. So it's pretty easy to jump way up. And then I also will rehome stuff and get stuff to other people in Georgia that are permit holders. So things like hatchling alligator snappers, I cannot sell those. I cannot, do anything other with those other than either keep them and raise them or give them to other educators. So there is some stuff that's kind of always kind of coming and going. I guess a good way to put it. I don't know what she's doing. She's just always like into stuff. So it's cool. It's harder. After I became a parent, it became a lot harder to be a parent to, 100 turtles. Luckily, they kind of function pretty good on their own. So I find it to be harder to manage time. So like now I try to get up super early to get a head start on everything. And then, if I'm working, I've got to like get up, manage turtles, feed my daughter, hang out with my daughter, go to work, come back, and then do all those things again, and some of the turtles are nocturnal. So most of the focus on them, like the alligator snappers, most of the stuff I do with them is going to be at night, like if I'm feeding them or something. And then some stuff's diurnal. And sometimes we get a storm, like we get bad storms. And so sometimes I have to kind of do prep for that. So it's a lot of work. And then there's like mealtime and getting food. And like, luckily, like, let me turn this around. So like the sulcata over there, this is a bulk of what he eats. And that's all he really needs is grass. And that's why he has full roam of the yard and he likes this middle area. And that works out fantastic. And that's really all I got to do for him. And, you saw the yellow-footed tortoise. I don't know where, there she is. She does the same thing. So there's lots of little like kind of weeds and stuff that they can find. And I tried to have as many things provided for them here so that they can forage on their own without me always having to intentionally feed them. I wanted it to be as easy for them as possible. My favorite animal, everybody always asks that. I just stepped on that flower. I'm probably going to stick with alligator snapping turtle. That's what I know the most about and spend the most time working on and studying. And probably that. I also like, random things like elephants and some birds and stuff like that. So thanks, Bob. So yeah, Angie, that's it. I always have like a kind of a long answer to favorite animal or favorite turtle, but I've definitely settled into the alligator snapping turtle thing. That's a lot. Just so much of my life now is kind of like revolved around that, and I'm pretty happy with that. They were definitely my favorites when I was a kid. So yeah, that's kind of it for right now. I've got to get ready to do a bunch of more dad stuff. What's its name? The sulcata? That's Leo. His name's Leo. The lady, when she gave him to me, she's like, his name's Leo. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to jump off. I've got a lot of other stuff I got to do today. Thank you guys for jumping on this live. And we'll do another one next week. And I will see you guys then. Have a great weekend. See you later. Bye.